Welcome to the workshop. Welcome to the workshop. I'm your host, Alex Miner, and in this show we are discussing about marriages. We also talk about leadership, about children, among many other topics. Today I want us to focus on marriages because that's an area that we have a lot of issues today, especially in this age and time. And I would stand and say that before people get into this good and wonderful union called marriage, I would feel that there is a lot of preparation that needs to be done, especially when two young people meet together. There's a lot they need to learn from each other and about each other, even before they institutionalize the marriage and get together to live as a family. I would say that the first thing that people need to know when you get to a relationship with someone, and if you find that it can be a relationship that can lead to marriage, first of all, you need to really know about their family background. It's very, very important. It's very much overlooked today, but that's very, very critical. People are made of families. They are products of two individuals who met, who we call their parents, or one individual who happens to be a single parent family. But your family has made you who you are. We are nurtured, we are structured, we are wired by the family system that raised us up. So, what do I mean? If you don't study the family of your partner, whatever was in that family is what you're going to find in your marriage. I'm not saying that you study them so that you can maybe stop the relationship, but I'm saying you study them so that you can know areas that you need to improve on, areas that you need more counseling, because everyone is a product of a family. The second area that we need to look at as people prepare to get married, you need to know the experiences that your friend has gone through. Because again, if there have been negative experiences, someone who has gone through an abuse, someone who was tortured or raised in a very violent way, those things are still in that person's life. And if they're not handled during that courtship time, in terms of counseling, in terms of good mentorship, then you may find them coming out negatively during marriage. So that is an area that I would also advocate that people need to research on, know your partner very well, let them be honest and open to you of their experiences. The other area that they need to know about them is what they have and what they don't have. We have had some people who get married, they don't even know what this guy has or what this girl has. Maybe you get into a marriage thinking you're getting married to a wonderfully wealthy gentleman, only to realize that all the life he has been showing you was not his true self. Maybe he was faking the life, faking getting maybe some loan somewhere here and there, just to prove to this girl that he's well up. So I would also advocate that people should also be honest with who they really are in terms of where they live, what they own, where they work, how much they earn, their family inheritance if there is any. That is another area that should be open, because those are some of the areas that raise issues when they come out during the time when people are already married to each other. Another area that I think is very, very important is to know the social relations of the person you're getting married to. Who are their friends? Who do they interact with? Because people tend to behave like their friends. People tend to think like their friends. People get to be directed in many areas in life just by the way their friends are. So that's an area that you also need to look at before you get married, and then you work on that area. And the other issue is that after people getting married, so many people have a lot of questions. Why do marriage seem not to really work? Because all those areas can be checked. You have checked family, you have checked their social friends, their social relationships, you have checked what they own, their experiences, and you're okay. But then these people get into marriage, And that's why we have a challenge, even at the churches, whereby people get married, everyone is happy, everyone thinks that everyone is prepared, and then they get into marriage. And then after a few months, the joy that was, the glitter that was, seems to fade away and is replaced by something so negative and sometimes something so evil. So what's the challenge again? Again, there is also something else you need to learn as you get into this partnership, marriage partnership or marriage relationship. There's this theory of partnership that when people are forming something, at that formation stage, people are ignorant of so many things. People are ignorant of storms. The excitement carries the day. And that's what happens maybe when you find this young boy and young girl getting into a relationship. The marriage day has come and they are overexcited. They are overexcited, which is a good thing, but they just need to understand that these stages come to an end. There is that formation stage where you're just excited about each other, but then when the rubber hits the road, things may be different, whereby you're not able to see this person in their true color. There's an area of their life you have never seen, and it was covered by this formation, this exciting stage, and then it comes out later, and then you start finding yourself in a storming stage. At the formation stage, things are good. You may even call it the honeymoon stage, but doesn't have to last forever. Doesn't last forever because kids may come in, and financial obligations may come in. A lot of changes may come into this family, and they may cause a lot of friction, and that's where storms comes in. You discover something you didn't know about your spouse, something you didn't know about them, some area of their life, some emotions that you have never seen, and no matter how hard you tried to research on the emotions, you discover some new emotion that has been triggered maybe by a lack of something or something that has happened, or even a sickness comes or whatever may come negatively and trigger some information about your spouse that you never knew about. You need to understand those are normal situations. After the honeymoon stage, which is the formation stage where things are excited, there is bound to be a stage whereby some storms may rise up. Things that you did not predict may come your way. And then you find yourself in this marriage storm that you don't understand or don't know what to do. At the storming stage, you discover you didn't know about this person, you don't know about this marriage, you don't even understand. Everything that you're taught, everything that maybe your pastor taught you, everything that you've read in a book doesn't apply now. You are facing this storm. Let me capture a story in the Bible, just to give a better illustration, where Jesus told the disciples that they need to cross over to the other side, and this is Jesus. This is the Son of God. So the disciples, when they heard Jesus say, "Let's cross over to the other side," I believe they knew there will be no problem. We just close over because the one who has said this, he is the creator of everything. He has been helping us. He is the miracle worker. But as soon as they got into the lake, and the Bible says storms came and they hit the boat so hard that the disciples were giving up. They were giving up on the journey. They were trying to help themselves and they could not help themselves. The same case with marriages. Sometimes we're kind of ignorant of storms, but storms will come. No storms may come, storms will come. And they may be caused by a lot of things. Somebody is fired from work, and now there's a financial crisis. A lot of things may happen, even outside, from outside, maybe a relative was coming or something has happened that has really interfered with the joy and with that environment of peace that was in your marriage. But when storms comes, the first thing that we need to do, and that's why we get so frustrated, we try to deal with them. When a storm comes your way, you just get into action and you try to do what you need to do, whether a man or a woman, like the disciples are not trying to fetch water out of the boat back into the lake. And I don't know how much water you need to get, because the more you get, the more you get water out, the more water comes in. And in that particular time, they discover that we are dying. This thing cannot work. This marriage cannot work. I cannot live again with this man. I cannot live again with this lady. And they were in that position whereby all their abilities, all the expertise, all the experiences came to an end. They found they were so limited, the storm is so hard, the need is so great, and they can do nothing about it. But thank God for these disciples, because they knew something that people in marriage should know. They did not just give up and drown, allow themselves to drown. One of them said, "Oh, we have Jesus in the boat," and they went and they knocked his door wherever he was sleeping, and you can find the language. They were not very happy individuals. They told Jesus, "Don't you care that we're perishing?" And they were so desperate. The storm had hit so hard. But thank God they went to Jesus. What am I saying? When you get to this stage where storms are hitting your marriage so hard, the way out is to look for this person who is empowered in that area. That is why we need to look for people who we would call our mentors, or our guides, or people who are walking in this journey together, people with more experience. I know sometimes culturally we don't want to expose ourselves, but let me tell you, when we get sick, we really expose ourselves to the doctors. And now it's better we get our marriage exposed to this individual who can help than the marriage going down. So we need to reach out. The way they reached out to Jesus, we need to look at this person. And this person we need to have with them even before marriage where possible. But when you get into marriage, you need to locate this person or this family, people we can always run to in case things are not working right. So they went to Jesus, and Jesus came and calmed the storm. So this angle of calming the storm, so many people can calm your storm. So many people can come in and really give you the knowledge that you need, the experience that you need, the information that you need to calm your storm down. These people can call them counselors, call them friends, whatever you may call them. We need these people in our lives so that we can be able to get out of the storm easily. What am I saying? That when people get into marriage, those are some of the things they're experiencing, and they're hitting them so hard, and they're afraid to speak to somebody. Before you get out of the storm, before you give up on your marriage, please listen to someone and talk to somebody about what you're going through. You discover some people have more experiences, some people have new ideas, and they can give you guidance out of the storm, as Jesus did for the disciples that day. But finally, now this thing called marriage, it was initiated by God. It was not a human creation. It's not an idea that Adam had. It's not an idea that Eve had. This was God's idea. So that tells us, if it's God's idea, God is able to maintain and to keep it. But then, there's nothing that God has with him now that we need here on earth that he has not released yet. So we need to go back to that original place where marriage was happening and discover and try to ask ourselves, might there be some tools that God gave to us during that first marriage that we have maybe ignored in the course of time? And that is why things are appearing to be as hard or as difficult to some of us in our marriages. When we go back to the original marriage where God created Adam, and in chapter 2 of Genesis, he brought Eve to Adam. The Bible tells us of about 4 things that I would take them to be very strong pillars in any marriage. And if you get into marriage and you are not aware of these 4 things that God spoke about, you are in a marriage, but there are very important tools that you're missing. If you go to a operator machine and you're missing tools, let's say you want to do something in your car engine or something like that, what will help you to go through one phase to another, from one level to another, is a tool that you need to have had before you start the job, and able to go through these nuts and all that. So there are tools that God already gave us before we get into marriage. And if you're able to have them and appreciate them and use them, then so many of the problems that we're facing today may be no problems anymore. Fast forward, let's go to where the marriage happened. And the Bible says that God brought Eve to Adam. Adam said very wonderful things. You're supposed to say very wonderful things to your wife and also to your husband for that matter. And he said, this is my wife. His name shall be called Eve. And these are bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. Very wonderful, wonderful words that talk about real unity, and this man is really appreciating that this person, this is actually me in another form. So that's actually, those are the words that Adam used to welcome Eve into his life. But then God said this, that for the reason of marriage, the first thing that would happen, that a man shall leave his father and mother. So that tells you the first tool God ever gave us that would really help us is to the ability to live, the ability to separate ourselves from some things, from some people, for the benefit of our marriage. So in a marriage where people are able to live, eventually God used an example, leaving your father and mother. Leaving does not mean you forsake them. Leaving, that means now your focus is not now to them. Your focus is onto your wife and onto the new family that you want to raise or you are raising. And there are so many things that people are refusing to leave, whether it be people, friends, habits, and that appears to be a challenge. But those people who are able to leave things in the interest of their marriage, those people who give priority to their spouses and to their children, that means they can leave anything for them. Those people are using a tool that is really helping them to prosper in their family and their marriage life. So the first tool that God gave us is the ability to live. Whatever you need to live, whatever you know that you need to live in the interest of your people, that should be left behind. Leaving things is not easy. Leaving a habit is never easy. Leaving a friend who has been a friend for many years. Leaving, maybe something that you find fun in. Something that maybe is taking a lot of your time. Something, maybe leaving an event that goes maybe past hours for the interest. Leaving is never easy because you may be connected to whatever you really call to live. But you need really to prioritize your family. That there's no one that can not be left behind in the interest of making your family better. I was just saying the tool number one that God gave to us is that ability to live. We cannot carry luggage, we cannot carry burdens, we cannot carry many people and then build a family. We have to leave what needs to be left behind, and this leave should be a discussion. Between the husband and wife. What should I leave? What should we leave? And then we come to a compromise, and then we are able to build a better family. The second thing that God said is that a man should leave his father and mother and then cleave. Cleave is the ability to hold dearly. That you, after you leave whatever you need to leave, you don't just have a casual relationship in marriage. You're supposed to hold them dearly. It's like you're holding onto dear life. The way you're holding your wife, your husband, the way you're connected to each other is not just another easy bond that can be broken. It's a bond that looks so permanent that you work on it. Cleaving is effort, is work. You have to really put a lot of effort. You have to really work on it to make sure that you and your spouse, you and by extension your children, your family, you cleave to each other. You hold each other. That even in times when things seem not to be working right, they are very sure that you're holding them, that you'll be with them to the end. And that's tool number 2 that God gave to us. And we need to hold our spouses and our children as we are holding dear life. And if that tool is well used in any marriage, then you'll find things become easier. Tool number 3 that God gave to us, he says the first tool number 1 is you live, then you cleave. Tool number 3 is that the two became one. It's a tool of unity. Where now these two people, the husband and wife, they have this commitment to each other, commitment to be one. They have an agreement that we shall be one. One is not two, one is one. One in decision making. These people will sit together and decide things together. These people will plan things together. These people do not forget each other on important issues because the two are one. So the aspect of unity, has been well defined in Scripture, where God says even how good and how pleasant it is when people dwell together in unity. In unity, there is a blessing. Jesus even said that a house divided against itself shall never stand. A city divided against itself shall never move forward. So unity is very, very important in marriage. And this unity is something that each partner builds. Each partner commits themselves to do. That your heart is for unity. Your love is united to the love of the other person. So, and when we're able to create that strong bond of unity, then I believe the marriage will work. The last thing that God said, that these people, and they claved to each other, they left, they claved, they were united, but these people, they had this family where they were both naked and not ashamed. That's a very strong statement. That these people, they were both of them, they could see each other's nakedness, but there was something that was missing in this family that is so common in our families today, something called shame. These people, doesn't matter how they looked like, they were not ashamed of each other. So Eve was not using Adam's nakedness to ashame him, and Adam was not using Eve's nakedness to ashame her. So we need to also to create a safe place for our family, that even with their weaknesses, which we may call nakedness, even with their misconduct, whatever they're not doing right. Somebody went to look for money, didn't come with the money. We have no reason to ashame these people. We have no reason to attack these people. People do not want to feel as if they are paying us for our love. People will always run away from places where they feel as if they're not well appreciated. Because if you're not well appreciated, you feel shame when you're getting into that door or getting into that place. So we need to create a safe place for our spouses, a safe place for our children. That the place that people really want to go to is home. And home is not the house. Home is in the hands of my father, in the hands of my mother, in the hands of my wife, in the hands of my husband. That's what we call home. Home is not a building. Home is what people feel when they are close to you, as the father, as the mother, as the husband, and the wife. If you're able to create an environment where you don't condemn, you correct, you don't condemn, you encourage. You're not like this police officer in marriage, always pointing on the wrong things. That you'll cause a lot of shame in your people, in your person, in your spouse, or even in your children. And in fact, people don't feel comfortable in a place of shame. But if you're able to create a place where people, they know that even in their weaknesses, they can approach you for help. Even in their shortcomings, they can still approach you, and you can give them guidance without hitting on their weakness. The challenge we have is we have a lot of spouses who are hitting the weakness of the other person. They are continually hitting the weakness of that person. And when you continue hitting the weakness of a person, they will definitely run away from home. And running away may not necessarily be physical. People run away, and people have run away from home. Even so many people today, even those who will be listening to us today, they may have run away from home. Not physically, but the people run away like emotionally. They are not attached anymore to that spouse or to that family. But the reason for all this is because we have not created a place where people feel comfortable, a place of hope, a place of security, but we have created a place of shame. What am I saying? That God gave us those 4 tools that we need to live what we are supposed to live, and every one of us, they know what they need to live. And if they don't, that's why we need mentors to guide us through knowledge, so they can teach us what we need to keep and what we need to live. Then we need to cleave, then we need to work hard, so that we can hold on to our families, hold on to our children, hold on to our spouses. We should not easily give up on them. We should hold them dearly as if we are holding for dear life. Then we create a place of unity. People can sit down and talk. People can appreciate each other, and they know that my wife and me, we are well united as we raise our children. And then finally, we look at this place where there's no shame, a place whereby everybody feels they're coming home, even when they have messed, even when they have not gotten whatever they went to get from outside there. They feel home is a place that I'm always welcomed. that I can be collected, I'll be encouraged, I'll be given more strength. It's a place whereby I will go there and get more energy rather than be deprived of the energy the little energy that I have. So what am I saying? We need to look at the issue of marriage from when people start the engagement before they get into marriage, after they get into marriage, and then discuss how they keep this marriage. So today, that will be our talk today, and that will be the angle of our talks in this program in relation to marriage. And until next time, we shall continue on that topic. May the Lord bless you.